Welcome back to another reaction video. Today, I'm going to be checking out how strong is the United States military. Why is the US military the strongest? Not going to waste too much time, we're going to get right into it, but if you're new to my channel, I'm from Australia. Welcome. If you got any other videos you want me to take a look at, just let me know in the comments. If you want me to take a look at more United States videos, whether it be more of the military or just other videos you think I might find interesting. Let me know, but we'll get right into it. Okay. Going into it, though, I expect, like, I think everyone, not everyone else in the world, even within your own country, in America, you would expect to be the strongest. But I think, everyone really looks at the United States as being very, very powerful. But how powerful?
Why is the US military the strongest? Great military powers have been appearing and disappearing since the beginning of history. Now is the time for the United States of America to be the leader in military might. But what makes it so powerful? Will its power remain undisputed? Are there already signs of weakness? Would it really stand in a conflict with potential rivals like China or Russia? To find out, we should analyse why exactly the US military is considered the strongest. The numbers. The US has 1,400,000 active military personnel. Okay. This figure places it in third place.
Hold up. So these are this is the comparison. You got China. China's very, very strong. India and America, like. When you look at it, I'm not really the expert of the military type of stuff, so I don't want to make too much assumptions. I guess you can say, well, go off the stats, but China, they kill it. That's for sure. When you look at the numbers, and you got Russia, Pakistan makes it there as well. Maybe with my tone, I sense surprised by that, but like North Korea. See, I would have expected them to be higher than India, but then I know India got a crazy population as well, so that's part of it.
400,000 active military.
Well, okay, there you go. It had to load. Still, the ratio is kind of the same.
The US has 1,400,000 active military personnel. This figure places it in third place in this category. China has the largest army.
So those points I was making, it's still kind of the same. But China.
With slightly above 2 million soldiers, while India comes in second place. This doesn't sound that impressive, but what makes the US military stand out is not necessarily the raw number of men. The US has unquestionable air supremacy. The US military is number one in air power, with 13,264 total military aircraft, a total that is greater than the other 5 greatest air forces combined.
I'd expect that.
2,085 are air-to-air fighters, 715 ground attack aircraft, 945 transportation aircraft, 5,768 helicopters, and 967 attack helicopters. The US is number one in each aircraft category, except for air-to-ground forces, where it's slightly topped by Russia. The US has a powerful navy that is designed to work in conjunction with its air forces. It has 20 aircraft carriers, 11 are regular fixed-wing carriers, while 9 are capable of hosting only helicopters and short takeoff planes like the F-35B. Okay. This is almost half of the world's total number of aircraft carriers.
Hey, we make one. We make one. Australia. Okay, I'm just happy at this. Is it me? Or has Egypt got an Argentina flag? Is it just me? And Spain. That's not the Spanish flag. Is it just me or am I tripping? Have I taken too much? Okay.
While most of the others belong to allied countries.
Is it because they mentioned allied countries? As I said, Let them speak.
Total number of aircraft carriers, while most of the others belong to allied countries. If we take into account only regular fixed-wing aircraft capacity, the total combined deck space of the US aircraft carriers is over twice that of all the other nations combined. To complement this, the US Navy has the greatest number of destroyers and ranks third in the number of submarines.
Yeah, it must have just been an error. I think that one was Iran. Where was previous? Yeah, that was... It must just be an error. It must just be an error in the video. It must be.
It has the greatest number of destroyers and ranks third in the number of submarines.
Ooh. Okay.
The numbers of the US naval strength are a bit tricky. If we count the total number of naval assets, the US falls in fourth place, behind Russia and China, and even behind North Korea, that boasts a surprising first place. However, in case of a maritime conflict, it would still be hard to counter the power of the US Navy, supported by overwhelming air supremacy and allied forces. Land power. The US is slightly behind Russia regarding raw numbers. American ground forces number 6,289 tanks.
Hold up. Russia, they really don't play around, do they? Yeah, they're a force to be reckoned with. Armoured vehicles. Oof.
Forces number 6,289 tanks. 39,000 armoured vehicles. 1,465 self-propelled artillery, and 1,366 rocket projectors.
So, yeah, all these things they're mentioning here. See, I would think USA, America, would have enough to put money in, what other resources to be leading this. If that's not realistic for them to be, like just here, for rocket projectors, what else? Self-propelled artillery, to be as much as Russia, if not at least China. I don't know. I feel if they really wanted to, there would be money and resources there to be top of everything. But if that's not correct, I'll be happy to be corrected. But I just feel like, yeah, they have that power to be top of every single thing.
Of self-propelled artillery and 1,366 rocket projectors.
Unless there's certain things where they don't think they're as valuable, or they have enough, or any more they wouldn't feel it would be sufficient for them. Yeah, it wouldn't help any extra.
Propelled artillery and 1,366 rocket projectors.
Okay.
However, Russia has a lot of outdated vehicles with questionable performance in case of a real conflict. Meanwhile, the US military has a broad technological edge. The US has 5,800 nuclear warheads that make it the world's second largest in nuclear war power. In this video,
I feel like they could have said any number, but then nuclear warheads makes me go, oof. Like that whatever that, like, that is just like just sounds very damaging.
Technological edge. Yeah. The US has 5,800 nuclear warheads that make it the world's second largest in nuclear war power. In this video, we're analysing the conventional military strength, but it can't be denied that a nuclear arsenal does bring a certain status. Even if things don't escalate to a full-blown nuclear war, it's intimidating to any country to be armed.
That's what I mean. You just hear nuclear and, yeah, you just think of...
Things don't escalate to a full-blown nuclear war, it's intimidating to any country to be armoured with such nuclear power. The quality. The US Army consists entirely of trained professionals, and many have real combat experience. Since the beginning of this century, the US has been involved in military conflicts in Afghanistan, Iraq, Pakistan, Somalia, Libya, Uganda, and Yemen. While other countries still rely on conscripts to fill the numbers, the US can field an army of well-trained, experienced professionals. The equipment, the military assets, and the technology used in combat have excellent quality. This is the defining reason why US casualties are usually fewer than those of their adversaries. A strong ability to project power is another defining trait of the United States military. Size, technology, and experience are nothing if you can't reach the enemy. Power projection is the ability of a state to deploy and sustain forces outside its territory. Only a few states are capable to overcome the difficulties that involve power projection, and the US excels at it. This is made possible by several factors. The home base of the US is safe. The neighbouring countries are friendly. Potential enemies are far away. The large landmass makes it a country that is hard to invade. It also has coastlines along 2 oceans and strategic islands that hold military bases. The US forces can reach far, fast, and deploy great numbers of forces supported by the enforcement of air and sea superiority, combined with excellent transportation capabilities. Even if it doesn't engage in combat, the US can enforce naval and air blockades that can severely cripple an enemy's economy. The US has by far...
that's what I mean. Sure, I would expect the US has that power to, really... that's one of those things there. What did you say?
And capabilities. Even if it doesn't engage in combat, the US can enforce naval and air blockades that can severely cripple an enemy's economy.
Yeah. I don't really know the description of that, but when it comes to, fighting the enemies, they can just really, they can enforce whatever they can, whether it be, I suppose, finances, money plays a bit to be able to do all this, and then the people, having a lot of people to do so, but, I expect them to have that, real power, powerful military to, if there's something they feel they need to do, they can do it. And then some.
Can enforce naval and air blockades that can severely cripple an enemy's economy. The US has by far the largest network of military bases operating outside of its territory. Information regarding the exact number and location of such bases involves classified information, so we can only estimate the total extent of the overseas military presence. Back in 2013, the Pentagon stated that there were around 600 military bases overseas. A rough estimate would be around 1,000 overseas US military compounds. Approximately 165,000 military personnel is stationed outside the United States. This doesn't include areas of conflict such as Syria, Iraq, and Afghanistan. The US has significant forces deployed in around 55 countries and autonomous territories. It is also estimated that...
hold up for a second. This just makes me feel like you're separated from life as you know it for a second, and it's like... It's back to just countries doing what they can to just protect their land. And and that sounds very... It's like things that would be happening years ago, like hundreds of years ago. But it's still very, very... And it should be. Or the worst could happen. But yeah, it still comes down to that, though. That's still very much alive, I guess, when it comes to protecting your country. Like they were saying with all the bases worldwide of, all the different countries they have.
And outside the United States.
Outside the United States.
This doesn't include areas of conflict such as Syria, Iraq, and Afghanistan. The US has significant forces deployed in around 55 countries and autonomous territories. It is also estimated that more than 150 countries have a certain degree of US military presence. Alliances. The United States can rely on a vast network of alliances. It is the de facto leader of NATO, the world's strongest military alliance. 18 other countries are designated as major non-NATO allies. This list includes countries like Australia, New Zealand, Japan, South Korea, Philippines, Thailand, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Egypt, Israel, Argentina, and Brazil.
It comes down to that too. It's because of the power of the US military, as your country being on their side, that you see you don't want to be the opposite. You want to be, you definitely want to be on their good side. That's only going to help you. To be
Taiwan's
an alliance.
status is a bit more complicated, and it can be considered a de facto ally. Some countries are not formal allies, but have a strong strategic partnership with the US.
Yeah.
One notable example is India, that participates in regular military drills together with US forces and some of its allies.
Okay.
Economy. Modern warfare is sustained in the long term by two main factors: the capacity to produce military equipment and the capacity to spend money on defence. American defence companies are the indisputable top producers of weaponry.
Korean War.
Among the world's top 10 defence suppliers, 5 of them are American companies.
Hold up. Take those in. Yeah. Oof.
Lockheed Martin is the biggest. It reported a revenue of almost $60 billion in 2019.
Okay.
That's close to Russia's entire annual military spending. The strength of the US military is also due to its huge military budget. In 2019, spending on the US military was a whopping $732 billion. That's almost 3 times more than China, the world's second largest military spender, and is roughly 1/3 of the entire world's defence budget. While Russia is commonly regarded as the second most powerful army in the world, its budget consists of only $65 billion. Arguably, there is an aspect of purchasing power. For example, it's cheaper to pay a Russian or Chinese soldier, but the cost of high-quality military equipment is still the same around the world. The reason that the US can afford such an enormous military budget is that it's supported by a strong economy. America has been the world's largest economy since 1871. Its nominal GDP is currently $21.44 trillion. This is almost a quarter of the global economy, and it's backed with plenty of natural resources, advanced infrastructure and technology. Besides the ability to sustain an enormous defence budget, the US often uses its economic strength as a weapon by enforcing economic sanctions. Soft factors. Soft power is another factor that comes into play when assessing a country's might. The US is world-beating in culture, education and technology. American pop culture has an enormous influence, and this won't change anytime soon. America also hosts most of the world's top-ranking universities with a record number of international students. The US leads the world of technology and digitalization, as home to the world's most influential tech companies like Apple, Google, Microsoft, and Facebook.
This part, the economy they're talking about, America clears. Obviously, it's we all know that. But when it's really spoken and you put it all together, it's quite incredible when you think about it. And yeah, as I said, obviously it's kind of common knowledge. Yeah, in the US, these things are going to be leading, but that's where they can lead to have powers in all these other aspects as well.
The US leads the world of technology and digitalization, as home to the world's most influential tech companies like Apple, Google, Microsoft, and Facebook.
But yeah,
it's easy to think that...
Yeah, I was just going to say as well, they could do so much. I feel like as much as they're doing, I feel like there could be still a whole lot of money, even more they can put in to be more powerful. Again, I don't know how much money goes into the people at the top and how much they keep. But yeah, I feel like there could be even more money to put into important things to run the country, into the military and a lot of other aspects. Of course, you can give me a more accurate description.
This doesn't seem important in warfare, but imagine an enemy soldier that would have to attack the country where his cousin studies, the country of his favourite music band, the country of his favourite actors from the movie that he watches on an American media platform like YouTube, or on an American smartphone with American software.
Okay, I don't know what you think, but I feel here I get the point of it, but they're taking it to a little bit of extremes.
The country of his favourite actors from the movie that he watches on an American media platform like YouTube.
I don't think we're on YouTube thinking, we're watching a YouTube video because it's an American, YouTube is American.
Or an American smartphone with American software.
See, I don't think that when I'm using my phone, you know what I mean? I'm like, this is American.
Finally, there is another critical aspect. It is called the will to fight. And this is the single most important factor in war. The will to fight is the disposition to engage in combat, the determination to keep fighting even when facing precarious odds, and finally to win.
That's real, though.
At an individual level, a soldier with a low will to fight will avoid engagement with the enemy and is likely to flee when things get tough. A battle is won when the enemy's will to fight is broken. Wars don't end when one military destroys the other. Wars end when one side grows weary of fighting, doesn't see any further purpose in the continuation of the conflict, and gives up.
They dip. Okay.
The national will to fight is what keeps a nation fighting.
Obviously, every military soldiers, they're proud. They want to protect their country. But there's this one thing, I don't know, there's something about America, it's like the top tier. It's about all what I said, money related and power. Look at everyone here. I just see there's a next level of the pride and wanting to protect your country. As I said, every country has that, but I don't know. With America, and you see the flag as well. It's just, as I said, yeah, every country has a flag, but it's just the extra power. I don't know exactly what it is. Maybe it's a bit of what's drummed into you as well, growing up and watching movies and stuff like that. But yeah, they all strike me as very powerful.
The national will to fight is what keeps a nation fighting. This is commonly linked to a sense of patriotism, national identity, and motivation generated by the idea that one fights for what is right. In the past, this has been a strong point of the US, as Americans have been fighting against dictators and terrorists that lacked concern for human life and dignity. In contrast, the USA has been regarded as a country that embodies values of freedom, democracy, and rule of law. It was the country that defined such values. Even more, it was the country that was willing to fight for these values. The American soldier has been motivated by a sense of moral supremacy rooted in the country's Christian tradition. However, America doesn't seem to be so cohesive in its values anymore. There are many factors intertwined that provoke this. It's a complex topic that deserves a study on its own. But the outcome is that America is now a country that is greatly divided among ideological lines and systems of belief. Many of its citizens are not sure what to believe in anymore, or even what they stand for. There have been many lessons in history. Small nations became great empires by holding high moral standards along with a disciplined and motivated army. A great empire's fall was usually preceded by internal strife and moral crisis. The final story of the United States of America as a global power is not yet written. The nation's strength rests upon its citizens and their decisions. It's a matter of this great nation getting back its cohesion and moral compass. That is, if it wants to keep its status as the world's greatest superpower and defender of freedom.
See, again, I like how they did this video, especially towards the end. It's a fact of, the power of the country, but how, because I was going to mention as well, they're kind of losing their way a bit, but it's not completely it's the whole, the world. Especially a lot of Western countries as well, or just a lot of things, a lot of people. Social media, I think, is impacting a lot of people, and how things are definitely changing, but and these little clips here. Which one was it? I think it's all like a mix of these different. It's just all very historic, and back to them again. It look like who's doing this? Where's the respect? And this is not necessarily related to this video, but a couple of years ago there was rioting going on, and that's the thing. There's so many factors. We're on this soft factors part here, but there's so many factors of different things that go on. It's Yeah, it's a bit overwhelming, isn't it? It's to different people's beliefs, uh, actions that people take, whether it be killing people and all that kind of stuff. There's just so many. Oh, phew, yeah, there's a lot of factors involved. So yeah, I did want to pause every so often, give my thoughts on different parts of the video. Uh, I noticed there was a few reactions of this, so I thought I'd say my piece, opposed to just sitting there not saying anything. Leave my thoughts, but hopefully you enjoyed my reaction to it. If you got any other ones you want me to check out, as I said, I'd love to get more into more United States, more American videos. So let me know what I should check out. What you'd like to see my reactions to, and I'll see you in the very next video.